Welcome to the Genetic Code. I'm your host, Jeanette Collins. This podcast is designed to take you one episode at a time on an intimate journey of your own personal transformation. Each podcast will have tools and techniques for you to practice in your daily life to create the very best version of you. Let's get started. Allow and surrender. Now that you're getting so good at being more aware of your thoughts and emotions, and you can now recognize some of your emotional patterns, and you're changing your reactions to loving responses, the next step is to practice allowing and surrendering. You have been practicing a lot of doing to change your thoughts and emotions and to shift your life into a higher gear. That's so good. And now there will be many times where allowing or surrendering up the idea that you know the best thing for you to do or say is being called for. As we advance as divine beings learning to create and mold different aspects of our lives, there will be moments and times where surrender is the tool called for. Surrender means to cease resistance to. So when you find yourself feeling frustrated, and it feels as though everything you've been doing that was working fine, then all of a sudden it stopped, and you might be feeling stuck again or like you have slipped back into the old behaviors. Don't panic and don't give up. You are in the perfect place. As you have practiced and learned how to modify your behavior and elevate your thoughts and emotions, you have been slowly, step by step, initiated into a greater level of learning and growth. So just like being in school, when you entered kindergarten, you learned your colors, numbers, shapes, textures, etc. And at first you were challenged with information you didn't know yet. As you learned and repeated the lessons taught, your awareness began to expand. And after a while you got really comfy in this new knowledge and you understood it and you could use it. Then, first grade. Well, now it seems you're starting all over again, but you're not. Information builds upon itself as you prepare yourself to receive it. If you're not ready, the lessons you are on won't advance up. Because out of love, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. Be patient with yourself. If you don't feel ready to take more on, just be patient. Just practice what you do know until you're so good you can do it without thinking. This is one form of allowing and surrendering. You can trust that there is something greater guiding your inner desire for change. This greatness is in you and expands as your awareness expands to lovingly guide you to learn and grow, to gain more knowledge and information that you can practice and learn to live by. This greatness is not your ego. The allowing and surrendering you begin to practice is recognizing that you and your ego aren't the same. The ego has its place in your world. The word ego means a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. Notice that there is a separation to some extent, the person or the conscious part of you determining if you are important or not, and the part that believes there is a you better than others, great or not great. The ego, in my own experience, is never the one who should be in charge. The ego sees the world through eyes of separation and determines who is better than who deserves more than another. I believe that in its proper place, within you, the ego can be your humble servant, to assist you as you navigate this world of polarities. The knowing that we are all one and at the same time experiencing our separate journeys. There's a proverb and it goes like this: no tree has branches so foolish as to fight amongst themselves. The branches, though appearing to be separate, are in fact connected to the whole. To be unkind to one branch would affect the whole tree. So as you are growing on your transformational journey, you will have many opportunities to allow and surrender up your need to be right or to get it right, or to be all-knowing to others. This need to feel as though being or doing it right will somehow give us an upper edge is the illusion. To allow that very human need to lovingly take a back seat and to surrender to the great unknown that guides you can feel quite challenging at first. But as you ask yourself questions along the way, it will assist you in being able to more easily allow and surrender. Here's an example of one experience in my own life where allowing and surrender were called for. When I was 16 years old, in the religion I was raised in, picking my spouse wasn't really my choice. Well, life had brought me, through divine intervention, a young 19-year-old who had asked my dad if he could marry me. When we saw each other, we knew it was our next step. I had seen his silhouette outside talking to my brother when I was 11, and I knew that he was going to be in my future. He saw me briefly when I turned 16, and he knew as well. He was not in our religious group. He was across the tracks, so to speak, not really one of the acceptable ones. Anyway, my dad told me that he had asked if he could marry me. I said, "What did you say?" He said, "Well, I don't think he's the right man for you." Then he said, "What do you think?" I said, "I know I am to be on this journey with this young man. It's the next step for me." Well, my father's answer was no, a hard no. He said, "I will never allow this." I knew it was my journey, and I needed to take the next step. So I used the only tool I knew how to at that time, and that was my ability to be persistent in my asking my father to say yes. So every single day at 6 p.m. when my father got home from work, he would go up to his room and rest in his chair. So I would knock and stand in front of him and say, "Can I get married now?" "No," was the answer. I would walk away and say, "See you tomorrow." I did this every day for 18 months, much to the frustration of my father. Then one day, I was feeling lost, frustrated, and confused because I had known what I knew about this man for 6 years, and now the last 18 months felt like I was beating my head on a rock. I pulled myself together and went to go to my dad's room once again to ask the same question I had asked so long. When this feeling overwhelmed me, let go, surrender your need to push and persist, allow. That's all I felt. It was so calm and soothing, and I felt instant peace. Until my brain kicked in and started getting on my case at never giving up, or I would be married off where I didn't want to go to someone else. I battled with the voice in my head, and all my efforts till now, my ego's determination to show my drive and commitment to my cause, with the soft, subtle feeling, let go, surrender, allow. I felt like weakness to me if I surrendered in and allowed, and I fought an inner battle for the next 2 days. My dad had left town, so I had a short time to process. Then one evening on the 3rd day of my inner struggle, I just said yes. Yes to what was calling me inside, to be peaceful, to let go of my way of doing it, and allow and surrender. I still didn't know what that even meant, but I kept taking a breath and saying, I let go, I will allow, I surrender. It was later that evening, and I was feeling more peace and less resistance to the thought of surrender. I was upstairs rocking my little baby brother to sleep when this very soft thought appeared. Call him, now, the man that I was waiting to marry. Well, I wasn't supposed to use the phone, so I hesitated. Call now, the feeling came again. Well, no one was around, so I picked up the phone and I dialed his number. He answered, which was rare. He said he had just come in the house and was walking by the phone when it rang. I didn't know what to say after he said hi. I wasn't sure why I called, except that feeling voice, call now. At that instant, another feeling came, and I found myself saying, come and pick me up. We need to talk about what we would like to do next. Well, he did, and we spent 21 years with 5 children, married until we had grown into different lives and divorced. That part of my journey had completed itself and taught me so much that I could trust my deep inner knowing, my intuition, and that by experiences, and so many of them in that 21-year span, that I could surrender and allow that deeper part of me to guide me through unknown territories. And even if fear arose, I could breathe, relax my body, tune into my heart, and I would feel or hear the next step. You see, there was a time for me to be persistent and face my father and my fears, and then there was a time to let go surrender, and allow something greater to lead, teach, and guide me. The allowing and surrendering journey is a journey of trust, growth, learning to trust your divine intuition that has no connection to your ego. Allow your life to be guided. Surrender the need to be right or to do it in a way you believe is right, and watch the beauty unfold before you. The great divine energy within you and in all of everything is breathing life into your body and world. The love for you and your joys are indescribable. This energy force knows you personally, hears your heart's desires, and knows that you have the power to activate any latent system within you to a greater level of knowing. As you learn about you, your struggles, your successes, the life you have, and the old lives you've let go of, the work you have done to overcome old beliefs and behaviors, the tears you shed, the lonely nights you have spent on this journey of transformation, the moments of deep awe and inspiration when the unknown breaks open a gift just for you. This journey of you that you have chosen to take will and is opening you up to an amazingly beautiful experience to share every day with others along the way, to inspire, to lead, to empower, and sometimes just cry together over losses and wins. The connection to you that you're creating will connect to every branch on the tree, and we will move as one loving being, enjoying the journey of life. So let's recap. Allowing and surrendering are very fine lines, but each individual, as you learn to trust you, your inner voice will build the strength here to know the moment to let go. The learning experience is always stepping stones. Notice if you are feeling like you're fighting for your inner cause or struggling to succeed at your goal. Breathe, relax, enter your heart space, and let go. Allow the energies to release their resistance. Surrender to the present moment of now. Feel it in your heart. And the next thing for you to do or not to do will gently rise to the surface. Trust that you can trust your inner knowing. Release the resistance, and you will feel more and more each time when to do and act and what to allow and surrender up. I invite you this week to practice your abilities to allow yourself to surrender when it's needed. To practice trusting that as you breathe, center yourself into your heart and trust, the answers to the questions and desires you have will come. Know that allowing and surrendering to something greater within you is a divine practice. It will build your own intuition and support your ability to trust in you. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. Please share this with others and tune in next week for another chance to learn, grow, and become a part of the greatest journey on earth, the journey to transform yourself, to empower yourself, and to extend that love to the world. You are worth it.